This is KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM. I am delighted once again to welcome somebody to the show today whose impact on my previous show 5 years ago was unforgettable. I am speaking about an artist who is known by one name here in Jordan. Her name is Sadouf. And for those of you who know her and know of my previous interview, she is back on the Arabology show, speaking to me 5 years later from the very same spot in which we sat in her beautiful, beautiful gallery, which she owns right here in Amman, Jordan. What has happened in the 5 years, we shall find out. And we are back with the one and only Sadouf. Sadouf, marhaba.
Marhaba, Dr. Ramzi. Welcome back. Welcome again.
In fact, I should be welcoming you because we are 5 years later sitting in the same spot.
Thank you for your interest in my work, my art, and thank you for interviewing me once again here in Amman, Jordan.
And so 5 years ago, we sat here.
Right.
You had this beautiful art, and I see that you've evolved in some of your themes, and you've kept some of your themes. Can you tell me in the past 5 years a little bit about your journey or your growth?
A lot has transpired over the past 5 years, and I'm so happy that I got to this stage where I am spiritually, mentally grown. I'm much more focused on my art, on my work. I know where I'm heading, thank God. I had 3 solo exhibitions. The first one was a huge exhibition because I exhibited like 100 paintings. They concluded different stages.
Mm-hmm. Where was this?
It was in Zara Center here in Jordan. The 100 paintings, 101 actually, they were 101 paintings, and they were 4 different phases. One was the legend phase, which was I painted most of the icons, people who just made a mark in history. Anthony Hopkins, Fairuz, our Arabic singer, Kulthum, the famous Egyptian singer, Muhammad Ali Clay, Allah yarhamu, who passed away recently. They were painted with really bright colors and not the actual skin color. The hair was colored, the face had blotches and pieces, different brushes and colors.
And so the Legends series that you're speaking about was part of the 101 paintings that were exhibited here in Amman. I would like to speak a little bit more about the Legends paintings, and we'll go to the other, because I have to tell you that in all the work I've seen you do, and it's all magnificent, the Legends series really stood out as this iconic tribute to these amazing cultural icons. I like that you balance between East and West, but let's take one, for example, and talk about the process and why. Well, I have to tell you, my favorite singer is Fairuz. What is the process? Why did you choose these icons, and what was the process of painting them?
Fairuz is a really famous singer in the Arab world and probably internationally nowadays. She's been through a lot, and she's still achieved to become so famous with her beautiful singing. Her songs are played in the mornings because they're so not just popular, they just touch you. Right? Yeah. They touch every single one of us. We grew up on Fairuz, and we still love her. And she's still singing, by the way, although she's, I don't know, she's over 70, probably.
Let's keep it at that.
Correct. Actually, when I was painting the Legend series, I found out that their characteristics reflected on the way I was painting, for example, Fairuz or Anthony Hopkins. Muhammad Ali Clay was the easiest for me to paint. I have no clue why, but I think it was his character. Maybe he was an easygoing person. Fairuz gave me a difficult time.
Why?
Yeah, she has some kind of attitude, but I really felt it through, while I was painting her and through the details of her face. And I gave her a lot of colors because she gives us colors through singing all the time.
And you had also Kulthum.
Correct.
So I'm looking at 2 iconic women who made it in a very patriarchal Arab world. And I'm wondering, at the risk of sounding too personal, Sadouf, do you identify with these women who have survived quite a bit and yet made it in a world, in the Middle East, that often relegates women to certain positions? Do you identify with Fayrouz, with Kulthum?
I do, of course I do. And I do identify with all the women who's been through difficulties and hard times. But one can make it. You can, if you work on on yourself and you focus on what you want in life, especially if you work on one's spirituality, I think you can get there. So don't despair.
Do you feel that your art has saved you?
Definitely. It strengthened me a lot. I have a mission now. I had a mission, but now I realize that I am here to do something. I mentioned that I had 101 paintings and they were different phases. One was the legend, one was my main purpose through my art is to record our culture in the Middle East, because I had my second exhibition in it, and it was paintings from Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, and Jordan. That was 2 years ago, and my latest recent exhibition was nearly a year ago, and it focused on Jordan only. The legends were abstract expressionism, and they were painted with acrylic. My realistic paintings are watercolors, mainly watercolors. Some are oils, of course, and acrylics, but mainly are watercolors, and they have a lot of details in them. I painted some scenery from Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. That I had an exhibition in 2014. Right.
So you had initially exhibited them as part of the first exhibition.
They were different paintings. The first ones were sold, of course. I go out on weekends and take pictures all over the country, and I come back to my studio and I record. I try to record all what I've seen, especially the places that are nostalgic to most of us in Jordan. The downtown area, for example, we all grew up there. Some of us lived there or even visited like on a daily basis. So I'm working on this period now.
And then a third kind of series, perhaps, that differs from the legends and from the...
yes. Now I'm recording everything to do with Jordan.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So this is the current stage.
Yes.
And you've produced already a few...
I have produced very little till now, but I'm still working on...
there's one specifically distinct painting here, and for those who read Arabic, they can see it's called Souk Mango.
Correct. Yes.
What is that?
Souk Mango is a very old souk, and it was managed by a family in the 1950s, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it still exists till now in the downtown area.
And you mentioned another one you'd like to discuss.
I posted this on my site.
We should mention Sadouf Gallery on Facebook.
And I got a lot of phone calls and actually some people visited me to see the painting because it reminded them of where they grew up. There's a kiosk. There's a book kiosk that sells books. And this is a very famous family store which started in Jerusalem.
Wow.
Then they moved to Nablus. The grandfather actually had a small bookshop there in a kiosk shape, and then his son moved to Amman, and he displayed, actually he opened that bookshop in the downtown area, and then the grandchildren are now working there.
Wow, how historical. And the charming way you did the buildings and
the details.
This tribute to Amman.
The stones. I love the stones, the window shapes, everything actually.
And so they are your latest series, and hopefully they are the kind of series that you could bring to the West.
Correct.
And show them the charm and the beauty of Jordan.
I had my last exhibition like nearly a year ago, and the focus was on the towns in Jordan, like Al-Husn, Ma'in. I painted like a panoramic view of those cities and towns, and some ruins, of course, akid. And this phase is a continuity focusing on Amman, downtown, the suburbs, the railway station, for example, which was like built in the 1920s. And in between, I play around with colors or fabric or printing. I have a series of percussions, painted some towns on the percussion, which looked really cute because they're like miniatures. The smallest is like 12 centimeters, and the larger one is like 22 centimeters, and they're round.
And so congratulations on the latest exhibit.
Thank you.
I think, you are ready for the West to begin viewing some of your successes here in Jordan.
Hopefully.
I know in Jordan you've become a household name, and your paintings have resonated with people all over the Arab world and the West. But in terms of some of the other things you're doing that are, to me, so unique and so beautiful, and I'm looking at them now, you seem to have combined churches and mosques.
Like in almost most of my paintings, yes, I do. Well, it represents our life here in Jordan and in the Middle East. We all live together, Muslims and Christians. They call it ta'ayush, which means we all melt in the society together. Actually, wherever you go in Jordan, there is a mosque and there's just a church next to it. They're all over and they are beautiful to paint, and they really capture my eyes. So wherever I go, even if the mosque is a bit far away from a church, I try to bring them closer together in a painting. Like this one in Al-Husn. The mosque was a bit farther, and I just brought it into the painting.
There is one painting I'm looking at here in your gallery that is just beautiful. What is it, the Chakras? I mean, can you explain to us what this painting's about?
Yes, first of all, this is supposed to be a tabletop. They sell kaik in it.
Right.
Kaik is a kind of bread that has sesame on it.
Yeah.
So the seller or the vendor goes around, in the streets, and they sell kaik. So I bought this specific piece from the guy who sells kaik. I made something called the Tree of Life, and I painted the chakras with details and some animals and birds around them.
And I know that you've also used different media, like we said, including fabric. I remember you worked with fabric 5 years ago, but I'm seeing a very definite presence of new fabric and patterns.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about this new stage?
This is really enjoyable. I print on fabric, and I do some cushions, and I display them. For example, I use them for chairs I've painted as well, and I'm selling quite a few.
Yes.
This
so
is
we're
printed
looking
on wood.
On wood.
Yes,
not
and then
on,
no. And then I'll show you one which is not framed, so you can see.
So we're talking about this piece
This is
with
a print.
Philadelphia.
It's an old hotel which was demolished recently.
In Amman.
Yeah,
In
that was a
Amman.
pity.
And this piece was actually painted on wood.
It was, yes, it's printed on wood and then painted over. I
Nice.
paint over it.
MashaAllah. Sadouf, I really don't know how to thank you for taking us through your journey 5 years later. Is there anything you'd like to conclude with?
Thank you so much for your visit, Dr. Ramzi, and thank you, KZSU. Special thanks to Stanford University, and I'm always thankful for the people in the East and West who appreciate my art and my work. Thank you so much.